Welcome to Rescue Owners Live, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode number 20 with Kirk Mote and your favorite co-host, Beth Mote. Like I said, this is episode 20. We got some exciting special guests for today. Can y'all hear me okay? What's up? Graphic? Oh, thank you. I need to throw up a graphic over here, man. This is why you hire somebody to run your tech. I love it. So if this is your first time joining us for the very first time, welcome. We are streaming live to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. So whatever social media you are tuning in from, do me a huge favor and just throw in the comments below where you're calling in from. I know we have people calling in all over the world, literally in pretty much all different time zones. People are up to all hours of the night to hear this show because it is all about growing your business more effectively, efficiently, and profitably. So we love an active chat, and that is where you can ask your questions live throughout the show. But tonight, we have a very special guest. He is an experienced leader, an entrepreneur who owns and operates 4 privately held companies in the business, real estate, and tech industries. His goal is to help millions of people live their best life with balance and purpose. His passion for helping others can be traced back to living in the San Francisco Bay Area as a young volunteer. During his 2.5 years there, he helped others overcome life's many challenges in 3 different languages. That's impressive. He has experience as an aerospace quality auditor and has since applied that knowledge to business management. His passion for technology and system design drives him to help companies, business owners, and entrepreneurs automate and streamline their processes so that they can make time for what is most important for them. He has been published in newspapers and magazines around the country, sharing his knowledge as a business owner, quality engineering professional, and real estate investor. His experience with leadership and business as a second-generation family office allows him to support professionals in every industry by identifying bottlenecks and business strategies available to the client. He empowers clients to focus on what they do best while benefiting from streamlining their processes and automating their systems. With his strategic guidance, clients are better equipped to bring their ideas to fruition. He travels all over the country for business and philanthropic endeavors. That is a mouthful. I'm like, wow. But is proud to live in the Phoenix, Arizona area with his wife and 4 boys. Please welcome to Rescue Owners Live, Michael Glover.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Can you guys hear me okay?
You are coming in loud and clear, my friend.
Awesome, man. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Dude, that is an intro. I didn't even know half of that stuff about you, and I know you a little bit.
Yeah. I don't even know half that stuff, so that's great.
That's awesome, man. So 4 privately held businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you were in tech. I knew you worked in real estate, but I mean, tech is a thing too.
Yeah, it's not like programming or anything like that. We don't do programming, but we do system automation and just how technology can help business, automate and streamline a process. So technology should be able to help you and not hinder you is what we strive for.
Ooh, I like that.
Technology help.
If you're taking notes tonight, technology should help you, not hinder you.
That's right.
You should start a quote book, dude. You should.
Oh, I should
buy
write that down. All right.
Yeah, write that in your little. You got a 10X journal on you? You got one of these?
I have them upstairs, but I have my little graph
beautiful,
paper.
Beautiful.
But,
yeah. So I write my ideas down all the time throughout the day, as it comes, as it goes. And Beth is like, dude, focus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah. So, with it being especially like mental health month, I think is what it is also, right? It's a lot of different things this month, but
it is.
With as much time people spend on social media and on staring at their phones and all that, that can be a real hindrance to people. It wastes a lot of time. if you're just kind of scrolling through, and it's all good to be entertained. You want that break from like the work life and maybe reality every now and then, but you definitely want to have, a balance. I don't have a work-life balance. I have a work-life harmony, right? And that's going to go in the quote book also, but
work-life harmony. I like that,
so
because there's no such thing as work-life balance, right?
No, it's not.
There's no such thing. It's impossible. But I like the harmony, because so I'm not sure if you knew this or not, but Beth, she went to school to sing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she got her. Yeah, so what was it officially called?
I think I'm muted. I'm not sure.
Are you muted?
No, I can hear.
You can hear?
Okay. I just can't hear myself. That's fine. All right. It's all good. I know what I'm saying.
Can you hear yourself better?
I can.
You sound great.
And you look great.
No, I was a vocal performance major.
Nice. Yeah.
That's cool.
What did I do? Okay, there we go. I'm just playing around with all the tools. She's not muted. All right, cool. Excellent. All right, well, let's jump into some content then. So first of all, I got a curveball question for you. 3 different languages. Okay. Like what are those languages? I think I'm curious.
Yeah.
Does English count as one of them?
Yeah, English is one.
Okay.
And then Spanish and Portuguese.
Spanish and Portuguese. Is there a big difference between Spanish and Portuguese?
Not a lot. You can actually speak to each other, and so I could speak in Spanish to someone and them speaking back Portuguese, and we can pretty much understand each other.
Okay.
So it's not, I don't know if it's like 2, ooh, cool, 3 languages, but Portuguese, there's a lot more, there's twice as many tenses in Portuguese. I think there is 21 tenses in Portuguese and 14 in Spanish.
Wow.
And so I haven't mastered Portuguese, but I got by just fine.
And isn't a lot of it more how you say it versus how it's written? Because I know written wise, it looks very similar. Like instead of Buenos Dias, it's Buen Dia, I believe.
Buen Dia.
Bon Dia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it looks the same, but it sounds different, right? And so, and also depending on if you're from continental Portuguese versus Brazilian Portuguese, they're quite different as well. And so, continental Portuguese for me is almost impossible to understand. Their accent is a lot stronger, and in Brazil it's a lot cleaner, I think.
Okay.
Hey, welcome, Sharish. Did I say that right?
Sharice, I would assume.
I don't want to butcher anyone's name here, but hey, calling in from Baltimore. Welcome to the show tonight. You're in for a treat. So, I'm curious. You started, I guess you got your start in aerospace quality auditor. Is that kind of like your main first thing, or?
Yeah, so I originally got into business when I started working at a university, and we were helping people in their PhD program. And so I was in sales right after I came back from San Francisco, and did really well because, in San Francisco, we'd be on the street talking to hundreds of people a day. So I wasn't really afraid to talk to anybody about anything. I was talking in English, Spanish, Portuguese. A phone job after my time in San Francisco was super easy because it was in English. And so I quickly rose to management there, and then started doing sales, but then got my degree in business management, and then went into manufacturing, which is what my parents do. They do aerospace manufacturing, and I got a job as their quality manager. And from there, I kind of got certified as a quality auditor. Then I started traveling around the country to different organizations to audit their quality management systems, how they work, how they flow. Are they adhering to the quality standard that they are certified to? And then just kind of grew from there.
So when was the point in time where you realized, hey, this is really good information, but I want to apply it to business?
Well, it always applies to business. When you look at quality management, and the systems that you run as an organization, you're going from the very start of when customers or clients interact with your business all the way to the very end, to where you are supporting after the sale, everything. And so you're going through that entire process and identifying what are your core competencies, what are your key performance indicators, how are you delivering your product or service, And then how are you communicating with customers so that after the service or product has been delivered, how are you supporting them and making sure that they have a good experience so that they can come back and start the process over? And so all of that really is, integrated with how business already runs. And it's different for every business. Some businesses are very sales and marketing heavy, and other ones are very service heavy. They might do a little bit of marketing and sales, but their primary business is try to get a repeat customer. And so they focus a lot on the tail end of the quality system to make sure that those customers come back.
So it's very interesting you say that, because the majority of the audience here tonight, and I think last week we had like over 500 business owners. CPR
Cool.
instructors are going to be the people that we are focusing on right now. Any business owner, but really, we're talking to the majority of them are going to be CPR instructors. They are individually owned LLCs. And like you said, they have that, they really focus on the service aspects, and they don't branch into products. They're like, man, I do one thing really, really well, and it's train people, teach people how to save the lives of their loved ones. And, you mentioned something earlier, KPIs, core competencies. That kind of jumps into the vision, mission, core values, all of that. Right. How important would you say knowing those things are to having a successful business?
It's absolute. It's when you look at the quality standard that I always audited people to, there is the ISO 9001, which is the International Standards Organization. 9001, and there's a ton of different. There's 27001 for technology. There's a whole bunch. The aerospace version is AS 9100, and they're pretty much the same, except for the aerospace version has quite a bit more requirements there. But one of those requirements is that you have a quality policy, you have key performance indicators, and that you have them posted somewhere where either yourself as a sole proprietor or your employees can see that somewhere, to where that quality policy is communicated to them constantly, and understanding what kind of quality are you trying to deliver to people. And that's what I love about the 10X planner and writing down your goals every day, is because you have to have that mindset every day to see how are you going to deliver a quality service, a quality product to your customers. And reputation in business is everything. If you have a bad reputation, you're not going to do well in business. And so having that mindset every day and building that reputation, that's everything to you.
Dude, I love that. And you're like preaching my language over here. So first of all, that is very interesting to me, because more times than not, as a business management firm, so we have many arms at Rescue Site Services. Obviously, we have a live show that you're on here tonight. We have an affiliate program. We have a business management firm where we manage the four corners of your business: sales, operations, marketing, and administration. And then there's a couple other levels that we won't even get into on the show tonight. But what you were saying with AS 9100, it is not only vital that you have quality policies and KPIs, but it's required. Yeah. It is actually required that you know your key performance indicators, and not only know them, have them posted everywhere so everyone is accountable for them.
Right. And having that on your website also, so that your clients know what to expect of you. What is the mission that you're trying to go for is absolute. And so having that communicated to your employees, yourself, it's important for yourself too, because sometimes we get into the details of our business and we don't have that 9,000 foot view of our business anymore. We're down, on ground level. And so it's important to kind of take a step back, look at your entire process as an organization, and see how is it that you are supporting not just your client, but also your employees. You were talking about the affiliate program as well. How are you supporting your affiliates?
Exactly.
We call them external providers because that's the generic term we use, but an external provider could be your customers, your community, your employees, your vendors, things like that. And so how is the quality policy? How is the mission of the organization helping each one of those people? And what kind of risks are involved? Because a lot of this also is risk mitigation. right? And especially CPR instructors, there's liability. I don't know if they have to have, when I was a firearm instructor, we had to have liability insurance,
Yep.
right? To be able to teach at any kind of facility, at least $1 million in liability insurance. How are we mitigating that risk just in case something were to ever, God forbid, go wrong with either the course or someone I've trained, if they are doing something I taught them to do and it was wrong, what kind of risk am I taking there? So part of that quality system is making sure that I'm teaching the correct principles, the correct things, to make sure that these people have it ingrained in their minds before they go out and they teach or they do whatever.
Now, a lot of these CPR instructors are single, individually owned LLCs, and they're wearing 27 different hats.
Yeah.
And like you said, they're working in the business, but never on the business. Never being able to take that 9,000, point of view, like you were talking about, 9,000 foot point of view, like now, screwing up my words over here. But you get what I'm saying. Like not being able to kind of look at it from the outside in and say, oh my goodness, I don't even have a mission or vision statement, and much less memorized. How can I communicate to my clients, my potential employees, because if you look at the statistics, 31.5 million small to mid-sized businesses, 2/3 of those fail like cyclical every 5 years.
Yep.
And most of those people are single owner LLCs, and they never grew their business.
Right.
And it's so important to grow and have employees. But if you don't know your vision, if you don't know your mission, if you don't know your core values, competencies, your value proposition, your brand pillars, all the things, then how can you possibly communicate that to, future potential clients and potential employees? Well,
and on top of that, I know personally when I'm working with either wanting to work with another business where we're trying to, convince them to work with us, or if another business approaches us to work with them, the first thing I do is I'm on their website looking for either their values or their mission or something about them where they're stating, what they're intending to do, what their goals are, and their principles. And people are doing that for your websites too. I mean, that happens. They are looking for information about your company and what you stand for.
Yeah, I literally had somebody come to me recently, and this is someone that we've been courting, and we've been wanting to work with, and I finally got. I mean, I've been putting all kinds of crazy stuff into this relationship, and they finally, entertained a Zoom call, right? And it was funny because when we got on there, it was like he goes, "Yeah, we've been following you for about 1.5 years now." I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, We've been watching your posts. We've been watching your website. We've been keeping tabs on you because we wanted to see if you were the kind of person we wanted to work with." I was like, wow.
Yeah, and that goes into that whole relationship, right? Because you don't want to do business with people who don't have that synergy, 100%. And so a part of your business, is not just the sales and marketing, but also, putting out your reputation. What kind of quality are you putting out there to where people do want to work with you? And that's a big part of it, because almost all of business is relationship. When you do business with, big organizations, like let's just say Northrop Grumman, for example, right? A big defense contractor. You're not doing business with just them. You're doing business with the buyer, right? Yeah. And so, John Smith or Jane Smith, or whoever the buyer over at Northrop Grumman, that's who you're doing business with, not just Northrop. And so that relationship is absolutely important. That's why I think it's absolutely important for everyone to be networking all the time, because you're doing business with people, not with business. And having a face to your organization is absolutely important.
I love that. And for the number one problem, or with, I guess, any business, is obscurity. Like, people don't know who you are, what you do, and why you do it unless you tell them. How are you going to tell them unless you're, networking, like you said? How are you going to tell them if you don't have a website that communicates those core values? How are you going to tell them unless you pick up that phone and make a cold call? I mean,
unless you clearly, have it branded everywhere, like people have branded cars, branded clothes, branded, LinkedIn profiles. And unless you're really clearly saying, hey, I sell AEDs, or hey, I do personal training. Like, they're not going to get it. And I've had numerous people come and be like, oh, ask me about, I do CBD sales. So ask me about CBD, or ask me about something CPR training. And they go, oh, you do that too? I just thought you talked about it a lot. No,
Isn't that
there's a
amazing?
reason. There's
That's
a reason I
crazy.
talk about it so much.
Oh my goodness. No, Grant Cardone talks about this. I mean, you market for 4 reasons. One is for yourself, so that you yourself know that you're in business. All right. That's the number one goal, is to get you psyched up. All right. You market for yourself. Secondly, you market for your team. You want your team to know that you're in business. You want your team to know that you're thriving and growing and building and creating a world. Our vision is to create a world where no one dies from sudden cardiac arrest. Everyone knows that. And third reason is for your competition, so that they know, hey, watch out, we coming for you. And then the fourth and final reason, which is, what most people think is your first reason, is, for your potential clients. And so it's a huge branding play. It's a huge, spend time networking and breaking out of obscurity and letting people know what you do, how you do it, why you do it, what you do, how you do, why you do it. And this could continue to repeat that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I love an active chat room over here. Look at this. Is it Angel?
Angel.
Can I not pronounce things tonight?
Angel Horta.
Angel Horta. I love that, man. Okay, you know all the languages. You can pronounce it better than I can. Great info, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, Angel, Angel, all the above. This is, we're doing it for you. Like this content is designed for you to help grow your business more effectively, efficiently, and profitably, all through the lens of attaining your personal, professional, financial goals. And so if we can bring on guests like Michael Glover that, really peak, oh my gosh, okay, I should work on the business, not in the business. And all those little nuggets, right? I mean, I've already got a half page of notes, by the way. I'm taking for myself personally, things that you said that hit me where I am currently. And I'm like, okay, I got to apply this tomorrow, tonight, So, I mean, I really do appreciate your time. This is great information.
Absolutely. Yeah. So as far as, working on your business, a part of the quality management system is also having something that's called a management review, right? And the management review, it can happen, once a year, it can happen once a week. And depending on how active, how many times clients are rushing through your business, you kind of gauge how that frequency, right, of how often you want to do it. But in that management review, you go through a list of everything. You go through a list of, your approved suppliers. Okay. So, who do you work with? Why do you work with them? Why are they an approved supplier? Is there a certain criteria? In our philanthropic business, right, in Legacy Global, we do what's called due diligence, right? And before we can make a grant money out to an organization or anything, we have to make sure that they're properly registered, that they have, the right tax documents, that they're tax exempt, everything. And all of that stuff goes into, are these people an approved supplier? And we do it with everybody. We do it with the Home Depot. We do it with our website providers, our hosting, with social media platforms, right? Are these the correct people we want to be working with? Right. And then when does that approval expire? Okay. So in aerospace, it was always, are they certified to the right standard for the service that they provide? Are they doing some kind of process to material? Are they providing raw material? Is the raw material coming from, DFAR organizations, right? North American organizations. We have to make sure.
DFAR is what again?
DFAR, it's like a domestic and foreign.
Not everyone knows these terms that you're throwing out left and right.
Well, I'm just saying, there's certain requirements for every organization, right? So if like CPR instructors, right, they might buy AEDs from you, right? What makes you qualified to provide the AEDs to them, right? Are there certain certifications that they have to have? If not, then you can just buy it, but that's all documented. And in that management review, you're going over, okay, who's expiring, this month or this year with their certifications? Do we need to get updated certifications from them, right? And all of that plays into that management review. And that kind of forces you to do that 9,000 foot bird's eye view of your organization. And it doesn't have to take that long, right? And so sometimes when we get into the details, we think we have no time to work on the business because we're working in the business, but you have to make that time. And keeping it simple is actually harder than just doing it and making it complicated.
That is so true. It is so true. It's funny. I took a speaking course and learned how to speak. Obviously, I can't pronounce names still, so that didn't help out a whole lot. But as far as how to tailor your conversation from an opening heart story to the content, the transitions, and the offer, all that kind of stuff, right? Learning how to give a signature talk and presentation. Yeah. And I entered into a speak off, is what they called it. And they're like, you have 3 minutes to do all of that. I was like,
wow.
I was like, what? I was like, I got 3 minutes. That's like a sentence per thing. Okay. But that's the thing. Like, I spent probably more time preparing that 3-minute talk than I have, a 90-minute talk.
Yeah.
Because every word counts. Mm-hmm. It is just so, and to your point, keeping it simple is sometimes harder, or smaller is, sometimes harder than, what you were saying.
Well, and it's similar to what we do with our management firm. We have a portion that we go through weekly, quarterly, and then annual reviews. And it's really important in those that when we talk about things, we go through a high level overview of certain key things that we are working on throughout that time, whether it be the week, the quarter, or the year. And it's super important during that we don't get bogged into going through these things and going, well, now let's talk about that. No, you're trying to hit high level for all of them. And then you take afterwards some time to delve into some specific ones. So it was like these 3 popped up that they were the most important. So I think it's super important, like you were saying, Michael, to have those times where you do that high level overview. You make sure you hit all the things you need to hit, and then you dive deeper into the things that really need your time and focus.
Right.
And by the way, like once you do this, like you have that system, that checklist is with you forever. You only have to invest that time putting that together one time, and then maybe a quarter or annually you can like review it. But you are able to put that focus effort one time, and then every week you can go through and be check. And then it makes the process so much easier and quicker.
Right. And what's great about, having that checklist and having like a process map, for example. I love process maps and Venn diagrams and pie charts and line graphs and all that stuff. But once you can see that data and you can go through that review of how your business is running and where the stops are, where the bottlenecks are, you can change those things. And as you do it more and more and more, it becomes a part of what you do for business. You're no longer, do you really need the checklist after you've done it, 300 times? You already know what you're doing and you're doing it within the process. And so you don't necessarily need to stop to do those management reviews or anything like that, but you're just doing it as you go. And it just becomes a part of the culture of your organization.
Well, and I mean, we've seen some of your flow charts, which are awesome.
Man, this guy has some flow charts going on.
Well, and like you said, Michael, they're great for being able to have that like high level overview of what your process looks like. So when maybe you do have a bottleneck happen, you can look at that and go, you know what, it's generally happening in this area, and go from there, versus having this nebulous idea of what happens. As well as, like you said, maybe you've done it a million times, maybe you don't need it, but maybe you're also on my team and you start hiring on people. Even if you only use that flow chart a few times yourself, now you have something that when that new person comes, you can hand them that and say, here, boom, like I'll take it through you through it once, and then you can refer to this chart every other time, so that I don't have to constantly have someone going, hey, can you remind me what I do next again?
Yeah, absolutely. Having those procedures and everything like that in place as well really helps. Some organizations, some of the bigger organizations, they require a workflow manual or a work instructions manual or something, where if I were to be gone tomorrow, can someone open up this book and do my job? And I don't know if I always agree with that, because sometimes, you want to be doing that part, but you want to have something in place that actually someone could step into your role and do it. And it's important especially when you're scaling, like you were saying, Beth, is when you're scaling, you don't want to sit there and spend a ton of time to sit there and train them and not have your business flowing like it should, right? And so having that procedure in place or having instructional videos, depending on how you want to run the organization, is great, because then they have something that they can refer to over and over and over again.
Well, if you get hit by a bus and like seriously, I mean, it's funny you laugh because I mean I think Jesse Isler talks about the bus analogy. Were you at 10X GrowthCon? Yeah,
I was. Yeah.
So you remember Jesse Isler talking about the bus, like it has one gear and it's forward, and it never stops, right?
Yep.
Now this is two different completely analogies, so like I'm putting two together here. What his analogy was, hey, look, once like that, there's a definite end date, right? And you're going to stop eventually. And there's no reverse, there's no redo. So like you're always moving forward. So that's one analogy. But the other analogy was, hey, what if you do actually get hit by a bus? So the two things this kind of like this is how my brain works, man. This is so crazy. What if you do get hit by a bus? Would your business be able to move on and continue without you? And if the answer is no, you don't have a business.
Well, and with a less slightly morbid viewpoint on it, maybe say you do have employees, maybe someone goes on vacation or you go on vacation. If
Heaven forbid, vacation.
Yes,
vacation.
No. What is that? We don't know what that is in America. Europeans know what that is. I go to the hospital and I'm like, I'll get back on as soon as I get off the surgery. But with someone who goes on vacation, or if you go on vacation, you're only a person, you need to be able to have someone who maybe a temp person, if you're the only one in your business, a temp person that can step in and be able to figure out what they should do via, a pretty simple set of instructions so that things don't grind to a halt. Because I know even with businesses that we work with that have a decent number of people that work in their organization, if one person takes off, their part of the functionality of things stops until they get back. And so everyone else is left in the lurch for a week, 2 weeks, and then they're stuck for a month after they get back with the stress of trying to catch back up with all the stuff that no one else did because no one else knew their job.
Yeah.
Hey, just real quick, if you are learning something here tonight, throw it in the chat, throw in some of your key takeaways so far. And if you really wanted to support Rescue Owners Live, whatever form you're watching this on, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, go to the bottom and hit share. I guarantee you there's someone in your life that is a business owner that needs to hear something that we're talking about tonight in the next half of this show. So take a quick second and hit the share button and just let everyone know, hey, you're watching and you should watch it too. That would be a huge, huge help to get, help reach our, goal, which is to, help CPR instructors achieve their personal, professional, financial goals through the growth of their business. So take a few seconds, do that real quick, and then, that's my commercial. I need to work on my transitions. I need to go back to that speaking school.
Oh, no, dude, I love this. This is great. People love this stuff.
Yeah, for the millions watching back home. No one really knows how many people are on live except for us. So,
well, right on. But yeah, so as far as when that one person is out, one good thing also about writing down your process and how it works and how it flows is now you can also identify what parts can you automate and which part needs human eyes and which part needs an actual human doing things. A part of the reason why I'm able to run different organizations is because I'm not always involved in every detail. A lot of that stuff is automated, right? And so what can you automate as far as, marketing can be pretty automated, right? Sales, probably not as much because you want someone talking there. You might be able to have like some kind of, sales funnel and some videos that you can put online that sell for you, but that's kind of getting marketing, sales, blurred lines kind of thing. But as far as your work process is, what can you automate there? With CPR instructors, the first thing that comes off the top of my head is, you can have like the live, classes that you're doing, but then also have support material that they can go online and watch videos, refresher courses and charge for that. Right. And so those are some things that, what can you automate to help support your customers and clients to make sure that they're always, on the edge of learning.
That's so powerful. I know, we do Cardone University almost every day, if not every day, multiple times a day. Are you on Cardone U?
I have it. I don't necessarily do it every day.
No.
Someone's not committed.
Yeah, I'm
I
struggling
won't
with
tell
it.
anyone.
I
It'll
struggle
be
with it
between you, me, and
sometimes.
the millions watching right now.
I hope Grant's not watching right now. He'll call me and like yell at me.
And special guest Grant Cardone joining us live.
Suddenly in the green room. Let me in.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, that's hilarious. Yeah, no, like you're saying, like Cardone University, and is basically what you're talking about is like having those sets of videos that when you're not there to be there to train or answer questions, it can be a great way for them to log into a platform that's 24/7, 365 on your phone, tablet, desktop, whatever, so that they can log in and they can search by topic, they can search by question, whatever the case may be, and be able to see what would Michael Glover do. Like, I mean, I'm gonna make T-shirts. What WW? Let's see, Michael WW. What would MMG? Yeah, WW. What would Michael Glover do? Yeah, WWMGD.
I'm probably not the best example, just so.
Yeah, maybe let's make a mug for you or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Love it. No, I seriously just wrote that down in my notes over here. Making sure I got the initials correct.
Now, okay, so back to bottlenecks.
Yeah, get us back on track, Beth. If you can't tell, Beth is the integrator of the group, and she keeps me focused.
Nice.
What would you say have you seen, Michael, as the number one bottleneck in businesses?
Ooh.
The number one bottleneck in business? That's a good question.
How about some top bottlenecks? You don't have to like say the number one. This like some of the ones
like
you see most frequent.
What your favorite is?
Who's your favorite child, Michael?
Yeah. I definitely. You know how parents always say they don't have a favorite kid? That's a lie.
It's a lie.
I have a favorite kid for sure. It might change like once a day, maybe a couple times a day. Depends on who's treating me better.
I love it. I love it.
But as far as one of the top bottlenecks, it have to be contract review.
Contract review.
Yeah, and that's an actual part. It should be a part of every business that runs. Is when you work with somebody, are the terms absolutely clear of what each side is providing and what each side is doing, and then what can happen is while the process is going, there's questions, there's complaints, things like that. So make sure that you review your contracts and that you're able to provide those services, whether it's something that you're able to provide, or maybe you're actually, servicing out to have somebody else do for you. If I'm a really good, organizational excellence provider and I don't do websites, well, then a part of the contract is I can actually put that out to a third party to do the website for you. Right. And so is that clear in your contract review? Because that contract is going to determine what kind of process and what kind of flow you have. So that's probably the number one I've seen, is making sure that those contracts are clear, and that needs to be reviewed by someone in your organization to make sure that you're able to actually fulfill those commitments.
Would you say, and that was great, in the CPR business, I would say that there's a vast majority of instructors that do not use any contracts at all.
Oh, dude, I can't tell you. I talk to hundreds of like CPR instructors a day. Like I'm cold calling, right? Like I'm literally picking up the phone and talking to these
Let
CPR
me help
instructors.
you make more money.
Right. Hey, you want to make some money? So like, here's the thing. Like Beth, like a lot of them, I was talking to a guy today and he was like, dude, like, tell me about your HR process. Like, do you have, contracts, set up for your 1099s? Do you like, no, I don't. He's like, what do I? They're 1099s. I don't need contracts.
Well,
like,
and
yes,
even to the point of having clients where they'll call up at 6 a.m. and the class is at 8 a.m. and they go, hey, by the way, we're going to cancel. And there was no contract. And so you have nothing to say, and they didn't collect money beforehand. And so,
which it only takes a CPR instructor one time. When something like that, hopefully it only takes it one time to figure out, okay, someone just canceled on me 2 hours before the class. I'm actually on the way to the class right now. Like, I mean, it should only take one time for that to happen, for you to realize, hey, we got to switch up this process.
So I guess a
Yeah.
follow-up question to what you were just saying, Michael, would be, is there anything that you would say that doesn't require a contract, or should pretty much every activity, whether it's, working with a new vendor or scheduling with a new client, should all of that have a contract of some sort?
When you look at the legalese of what contracts are, I mean, it could be anything. It could be the terms of use. It could be the privacy, part of the privacy policy. There's a lot of things that go into what your organization does that can be considered a contract, right? Like before you sign up for any website is, do you agree to the terms of service? And that is probably the biggest lie everyone ever says is, yeah, I've read it, but who actually reads the terms of services, right? So,
or the Apple update for your phone.
Yeah,
Same thing.
right. But like, so
we can listen to everything you're saying now, but do you agree?
Yeah,
you like our phone, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we love people spying on us all the time, but I mean, it's just like, you can have, the refund policy. What the example you guys were saying is, how many times does an instructor get a call 2 hours before the class starts and people are canceling? Well, then what's the refund policy? Did these people agree when they bought the service to the refund policy, to the terms and conditions, right? And then also think about, the terms that you have for your affiliate programs, or for any kind of program that you run where you're interacting with an external provider. What kind of terms do you have with those people, and are they agreeing to them, or are they not? And then that way, when they do call and cancel, you can say, hey, this is our refund policy. We can give you 80% of your funds back, or we can give you 50%. I know Grant Cardone says you can have store credit because we've asked for refunds every now and then. But
store credit's where it's at, dude, because you don't lose the money.
That's right. That's right. But you also, there's still an exchange of goods and services there. So store credits is a good idea as well. So,
or like one thing I'll do is I'll say, hey, 100% money back guarantee. But if you're asking for a refund after the product has been delivered, you're going on a blacklist. All right. Yeah. You're never going to be sold to again.
All right. Especially if it's a course.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Especially if you're exchanging time with somebody and they want the money back. No, I'm sorry.
It's already been delivered.
Well, it's like someone going to a restaurant, eating an entire steak, and then going, "Oh, it was horrible.
It was mediocre.
Have a refund, please."
It was worth 50% of that.
Yeah, they ate the whole thing, but it wasn't good, right?
It was horrible.
They only decided that on the last bite.
That last bite really did me in.
Well, and also what we've talked about before is having those contracts in place, even if you never had a problem before, you trust all of your clients, whatever. It allows you to be able to look extremely benevolent if something does happen with a client and they want to cancel, or they want to switch to a different date. And you're like, well, my cancellation policy, means that you would have had to tell me a week ago, but you know what, like, I'm fine with making an exception this time, blah, blah, blah. And so it gives you the chance to, do something generous on their behalf versus them having full reins because you didn't have any terms up front.
Beth is so nice. Like, I would be like, if someone canceled on me.
She handles all the cancellations, doesn't
she? She needs to, because like, I would be like, all right, I'll send you an invoice for the, scheduling. And once it's paid, we will get you locked in. What do you mean an invoice already paid? Yeah, that was the one you canceled last second.
Well, and it depends on the situation. But, it gives you that flexibility.
No, I legit had a major, like, if I told you the name, you'd recognize it, corporation. And they asked for, it was, I want to say 48 students, which is, 4 classes worth of, teaching. And like 8 showed up. They paid the full bill.
Wow.
And most places will. I know when we've worked with larger corporations, that just happens. Or government organizations.
Government organizations are the worst.
You'll have a class of 12 and one will show up if you're
lucky.
Maybe.
I've gone into like situations where no one shows up and we leave after 15 minutes because it's all right, no one showed up, And so it is so important to have those policies, make them as strict as possible so that, like Beth said, that you can show some, what is that big B word you just used?
Benevolence.
Benevolence. All right. So you can have some benevolence.
Do I need to share my SAT word book?
Yeah, that's something, man. That's something I need to work on is my vocabulario.
Now-
I'm right, and that's a new word of the day right there.
Oh, look,
Oh.
you even got Michael writing it down. Hey, that'll work really well for your charitable planning side of
There you
things.
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go.
My goodness, that would be a great segue into charitable planning if you want to start talking about charitable planning.
Well, yeah, but I just want to add one more thing though, because sometimes things don't go to contract, right? So what do you do, right? So in quality management, we have non-conforming reports, right? So something did not go as planned. Maybe something was delivered incorrectly. A lot of times it applies to products more than services. But if there is a non-conformity, right, then what do you do to correct it, to make it right? Okay, and then a part of your KPIs, one of the key performance indicators, is how many of these nonconformities, customer complaints, maybe, do I have in a 6-month period or in a 12-month period? And then you can identify, is there a common theme in the customer complaints, right? And then you go in that nonconformity report, this NCR report, you go in and say, okay, this customer's complained about, the infrastructure of the building, right? Maybe it wasn't clean. Maybe it wasn't, maybe it didn't smell nice. So the corrective action that you do is that you find a new facility or you get some Febreze and you spray that place down, I don't know. But you can identify what those nonconformities are. And that is that part of that, what we call continuous improvement process. And so you're able to always improve on your course or your business or anything like that.
Now, I know a standard practice for employees is a verbal, a written, and a goodbye process.
Mm-hmm.
So is it similar in this sense on the business level as well? Do you give a verbal warning, a written warning, and then a, hey, thanks, but no thanks?
Yeah, it's different for every organization. Quality management systems are built for one-man organizations or one-woman, one-person organizations, right? Or organizations that have 10,000 plus employees, and so it tells you what you should do, but not how you should do it. So whatever you feel would be right for your organization, you determine that. And that's what I used to go around the country doing, is advising on what would work for this organization, what kind of goals and key performance indicators should they have, depending on what industry they're in and how many employees that they have. And so it's really up to the business owner to determine all that kind of stuff.
I'm really liking this. So like you talked about the management review earlier, and you were talking about how, do we want to work with them? Why do we want to work with them? And answering those types of questions. I know you, like, how often would you say you go through a management review for your vendors? Is that a quarterly, an annual, biannual?
Depends on what kind of service they're providing.
Michael, you sound like a lawyer right now. It depends.
It depends. It always depends. There's never
hire me for consulting. It depends.
Well, no. So like, for example, if I am doing a grant, with charitable planning, right? And I'm doing this to an organization that has a tax exempt status, I'm going to review them once a year because that's how often they file their taxes. And if they don't pay their taxes or they don't file their 990s, then they can lose that tax exempt status, right? So that goes into that risk mitigation, right? So I'm going to review these people once a year. But if I'm doing like a Home Depot, for example, they're not really certified to anything. There's nothing to review. So once they're approved, unless they really do a bad number on me and they have horrible customer service, I might put them up for review maybe once every 5-10 years. I don't know. Just kind of depends on the business owner and who is servicing you and what they're providing.
Nice. Talk to me about, some processes that are like most business owners, if they could only focus on one process, or just a handful of processes, what were those first few processes? What should those be, to focus on and build out?
Yeah. So I would definitely focus on your sales and marketing first. How are you getting clients in? Right. And then how are you keeping? So that's first one is, how do you get clients in? Right. What's that process look like? What is your marketing, your retargeting, ads, all that kind of stuff? What does that look like? What are you doing when the customers are in to provide an excellent experience? And then how are you getting customers to come back or to refer more business back to you? So those are the three main, that's what you want to decide on, what your core competencies are, and then whatever those processes are.
So get, experience, keep, and refer.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I boiled that down to.
Yeah.
Put that in the show notes. That was pretty good. I like that. So that's awesome. Okay, so if you have no other processes, you got to focus on how you're getting clients. That's your first and foremost process. Sales and marketing. Marketing is obviously senior to sales. I mean, breaking out of obscurity, and then getting them into your office, getting them on the phone, getting them on the Zoom call, getting in front of them, whatever. Then you got to know what to say, how to say it, and when to say it. That's your sales process and your sales scripts and your sales training that you need to be doing every day, so that you have that mastered. I'm not pointing at you, man. I saw your eyes go wide. He's like, oh, he's calling me out. No. But also sales and marketing, then the operation side, which is the experience. Okay, once I've sold them, how can I perform above and beyond what their expectations are?
Yeah.
And then keeping them and then getting referrals from them.
Right.
I love that.
Right.
I love that. Is that one of your 4 kids in the background?
Yeah.
I heard some laughter. That's a good sign.
Happy.
That's a good sign.
That wasn't laughter. That was more of the I think I'm hurt, but I don't know yet. So.
Will I keep crying or stop?
Did anyone
so we just
see
smile
that?
and laugh. Yeah.
Did anyone see it? It's funny. We have a dog that is legit is a drama queen. It's a dude dog, but and it's a German Shepherd, but he acts like a drama queen. If someone's watching him and then you accidentally step on his foot, he's limping, and then he's whining, and then finally I look away, and then he's dashing for a ball.
And then you look at him again, and he'll start
oh.
I'm like, yeah, you were fine 2 seconds ago. I think you're all right.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Automation. Can you hit me with some things? I know you talking about marketing is one thing that you can really automate. What are some other things? Or if you want to dive in a little bit deeper to the marketing side of things, what are some automations that you can set up to help you market?
Well, so we do this a lot with charitable planning, but also in your operations, you can do a lot of automation. In your support, you can as well. So when someone fills out, a support ticket on your website, does it send me a text message? Does it automatically fill out, a document? To fill out for me to sign and move. We use HubSpot, for example. When they
HubSpot, by the way, for those of you who don't know what HubSpot is, that is a CRM. It stands for Customer Relationship Management. And if you don't have one, you need one.
Absolutely.
Because there's no better way to lose a client or your potential best client than to not have them recorded in some sort of system. So get that. It's free, by the way. There's a free version, has everything you need.
Well, and you can track every interaction. You can literally log calls, you can log emails, where it keeps a record of all of that. So it's not, okay, did I talk to him about XYZ? Did we discuss this or that? Was this the person with the 5 kids or the 2 dogs? You got all that information saved as long as you're tracking notes.
And when you're talking on the phone, you better be writing stuff down. You see me tonight, I'm taking notes during this live stream because I'm always taking notes when I'm learning. And
and you're going to document it in your CRM, right?
That's right. When we get off the call tonight, I'm going to mark this as a meeting, and then I'll write down all the things that I learned, and then I'll create some tasks associated with it and say, okay, I need to create some management reviews, right?
Yep.
How can I better serve my affiliates? That was one thing that really hit me. You're like, hey, how are you helping your affiliates? I wrote that down. I was like, I think I'm helping my affiliates. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, good. I'm glad I was able to help at least with something.
What do I need to do more? So,
well, at the end of the day, this is great information, but it's only information unless you take action on it.
Oh, Beth, you hit it on the head.
Boom. She should start a quote book too.
She should. She should. My goodness.
Called benevolence.
Benevolence.
Oh my goodness. No, it's that is so powerful. Seriously, when people, a lot of times people go from book to book to book, or from conference to conference to workshop, and they never stop and apply what they learned.
Well, and those people tend to get mad. They're like, oh, they were told me I'd get 10 times the value from this. It's like, well, it only works if you use it.
Yeah.
It's like someone saying, I bought this great treadmill, but I never got on it. I never lost any weight. Wow. What a
I wonder why.
surprise.
On my phone, I'm not sure if, yeah, here we go.
I can see it.
Take massive
Boom.
action. That is my screensaver, and that is a reminder to me every time I open my phone, like 1,000 times a day. I look at this thing. It says take massive action, and that's a reminder that, hey, when I learn a piece of information, when I write something down, how am I helping my affiliates? Like, how am I going to take massive action to achieve that goal? I mean, it's called attack speed, and the faster you can do something and bring it to fruition, the faster you can make it a reality. Is so powerful, because your competition is not doing it. Your
No.
competition is taking notes, and they're going home after the conference, after the workshop, after tonight's live episode. They're like, wow, that was awesome. Kirk, Beth, and Michael were great. And then they're like, you know what? Next week they're going to show up again. Like, wait, that's awesome. That's great. And then, but they never take time to take action.
Well, and I think what holds up a lot of people is I think it needs to be perfect. Now, for example, let's take the flow diagrams that Michael does. His look awesome. They're in like a special, creator, and they look really pretty, and they're color coded, and they're just perfect. You may not.
That's like Beth language right there.
You may not have like
I'm
all
so
that.
flattered.
You may not have all that technology. You might not have the programs. You might not even know, what colors to code things. Honestly, just taking a sheet of paper, it can be the back of something else you wrote on. It can be an envelope. Kirk writes on envelopes all the time. It drives me nuts. I never know if I can throw them away.
As long as they're not sticky notes.
Right. Yeah, no sticky notes.
And just get something jotted down. Go, okay, that process I just did, what would it look like in its most simplified form? Because honestly, at the end of the day, like, that's how most really crazy products get out there, like Apple.
Yep.
Apple, and I want to say Microsoft too. Like, a lot of those different companies,
Amazon, Bezos,
when they first
Facebook.
Released them, a lot of times the product didn't do what it was supposed to. It could only do just enough to make it look like it could do what it was supposed to, and then they figured out the rest before they actually shipped it out to people. So just get started with like the bare bone minimum of something, because if you get that little bit going, you've gotten the ball rolling, you've gotten the process started, you're much more likely to see that again and be like, you know what, maybe I can tweak a few things. And then maybe someday it isn't, on a pretty program where it's all color coded and perfect, but it doesn't have to be to start.
Speaking of Apple though, what phone are we on now? 13?
Yeah, it's still getting improved upon.
It is still getting improved upon. You're exactly right. People, you do not have to have a perfect product to go to market.
Well, and they ship them out, and then 6 months later they say, oh, there's lots of bugs, let me send you an update
for free. There you go.
To fix all the stuff we didn't get ready by the time we shipped it out to you.
You're exactly right.
Well, and a lot of times when you're looking at those processes, right, and this is true with automation too, going back to that, but you have to start with the end in mind. And so getting a piece of paper, writing down, okay, what is the end result that I want? What is it I want this to do? You write that down. You draw a little box and you say, I want loyal customers. Well, how are you going to get that? And then you start working backwards through the process of how that's going to work and how is that going to flow. And so having that CRM is a big part of that, because you build out that pipeline. What are the steps of the pipeline, right? And you build that out, a lot of times backwards to beginning.
Now, one thing you said that you do really, really well is identify bottlenecks. And I know we're coming to the end of our time here tonight, but I am curious, is there a method or methodology or, something that you put in place, a process that you put in place to identify bottlenecks? Because a lot of times people don't even realize that it's a bottleneck when it's a bottleneck.
Yeah.
So stepping over that.
Yeah. In the most simplest terms is to identify trends. There's things that we do with like Lean Six Sigma, which is something I got certified in with being an aerospace auditor and things like that. There's failure mode, effective analysis is the technical term. But what you're really doing is you're finding out what are the possible risks, how often do they occur, have they ever occurred, have they occurred in the last 5 years, 2 years, 6 months, whatever. And you identify how often are they occurring. right? It goes back to those nonconformities too. How often are customers complaining about the lighting in the facility, the smell, the food that we provide, right? You identify those trends because those can be bottlenecks. Sometimes you get returning customers to classes because the food is really good or the seats are really comfortable, right? And so you want to identify
what gets
those.
measured is what I'm hearing, and what gets measured gets accomplished.
Correct. Absolutely.
And so
And
if
that's
you're not
true for
measuring
goals, everything.
So if you're not measuring, if you're not taking notes, if you're not, documenting your KPIs on a weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual basis and reviewing those, then how can you possibly make improvements if you don't know what needs to be improved?
Yeah. And we've actually used HubSpot, that CRM, that customer relationship management, using the free version of that, and then identifying how you communicate with customers, having support tickets, because there's a lot of free things in the free version of HubSpot that you can identify those kind of trends. How often do you have return customers to your website, things like that? There are so many trends that you can measure and then be able to improve upon, but you don't want to go into analysis paralysis. You want to be careful of that, but you do want to identify what are the key, most important things I want clients to have and do, and then how are you measuring that to make sure you're doing it better and better and better every day.
I love that. Well, hey, we are at 9:00, and so before we go, I do want to what is the best way for people to get a hold of you? Because you're obviously providing some rock star information here tonight. I've taken a whole page of notes over here, and I want other people to be able to have access to you. So, what's the best way for people to have access to you?
Honestly, I'm online, but michaelglover.com. I have a free chat. You guys can chat with me there. I have an app, but all focuses right there through that website. So it's michaelglover.com.
Let me see if I can pull it up here. That's still everything right?
That's it. Yep.
Because sometimes I misspell things. I misspelled someone's, email 3 times in a row last week.
Wow.
It was embarrassing. It was fine because it was live. We are truly authentic here. So
you gotta love live shows, man.
That's right. And that's what there's no filter. This is us. All right.
Yeah.
So, well, hey, Michael, I certainly appreciate your time here tonight. This has been extremely valuable for me. I know that a lot of people have commented, this is awesome. This is great. This is, exactly what I need tonight. So you definitely provided an incredible value for our listeners tonight. So maybe we'll have you on again.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's been fun, Kirk, and it's been fun, Beth. I appreciate you guys' insight. I'm going to try and write that book, Benevolence, before Beth does. So we'll race.
All right. On your mark, get set, go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us live on Rescue Owners Live, episode 20. We are in the conclusion of this final not the final episode.
I don't know where you're going.
I don't know where I was going with that either. But look, we're going to be here live next Monday and every Monday from 8 to 9 p.m. And if you want to learn how to grow your business more effectively, efficiently, and profitably, join us, sign up, join us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever your poison is. We'll see you next Monday at 8 p.m.
As a CPR instructor, you probably get asked how and where to buy equipment like defibrillators and first aid kits. Up to now, you've probably either shrugged off the question or told them to Google it. Don't miss opportunities like that. Instead, be the one to not only provide the knowledge of how to save a life, but also the resources to be ready to rescue. It's time to become a Rescue Site affiliate, and it's incredibly easy to do. Introducing the Rescue Site Affiliate Program, the only customizable platform with every FDA-approved defibrillator on the market, first aid equipment, and so much more. Now with the Rescue Site Affiliate Program, you can recommend products and earn commissions without having to purchase, warehouse, or ship products. When you become a Rescue Site affiliate today, you are automatically approved and will receive a customizable link to your store with your name on it. You earn commissions from all qualifying purchases through the traffic you drive to your new store. Whether you're just getting started as a CPR instructor, Whether you have a team of instructors or whether you're a training center with thousands of instructors across the country, this program is for you. Stop shrugging and start providing both the knowledge and the resources to save more lives. Become a Rescue Site affiliate today.